we completely lost sight of what the purpose and where the impact of content really comes from.
I'm just not a creative person. I can't come up with this viral video or this way of doing TikTok or social.
Yeah. So this is amazing. But I noticed a very kind of scary trend over the last 3, 4 years. And I actually wrote the book Conviction Marketing before the pandemic. And I ended up putting it on hold for a couple years because there was so much craziness. And I was pivoting my way through leading my clients and my team through all of that. But I noticed this trend where content began to shift into this follow the leader mentality where everyone that taught at my level in the market was saying, just find the trending song and lip sync to it. Go copy whatever the fad is. Actually, people were building their whole business on saying, this is what's popular today. Do this, create that, replicate this, copy my that. And I said, wow, this actually defeats the entire purpose of creating content, right? Content should be an extension of your visionary leadership, of your thought leadership. Content should be the entry point through which you have a sense of expression for your unique perspective, your unique ideas, your philosophy, and the value that you bring to the market. And I think that we completely lost sight of what the purpose and where the impact of content really comes from. And so I watched a lot of entrepreneurs spinning in these cycles where they were chasing these fads and trends as people were saying, oh, do this today, do that tomorrow. You need to focus on this now, copy that. And by the time they learned how to do ABC, XYZ, the trend had already changed to something else. And so it was just this endless cycle of entrepreneurs feeling overwhelmed and frustrated and stuck with the content creation process because they were constantly chasing this mirage of, oh, if I just do this, then I'm going to be successful on social media. And so I wanted to write a book really detailing out the process and the mentality through which I built an 8-figure company and through which I've helped hundreds of entrepreneurs to build 6, 7, and 8-figure companies doing leadership based, thought provoking, very intentional content, not following trends, not doing the latest, greatest fad, not singing or pointing or lip syncing or dancing, but instead really focusing on adding value to the market. And so I wanted to not just write a book that was my opinion on why this is important or giving people encouragement that they don't need to do those things, but I really wanted to map out a system and a process that people could follow to learn this methodology and to be successful achieving their business goals without compromising their value or really losing the impact that they could make through their thought leadership work online.
That's amazing.
Wow.
I'm glad you're saying that because I think a lot of times someone will look at somebody else and not necessarily as an influence, and then they try to do the exact same things that someone else is doing, thinking that they will achieve the same sort of success that whomever it is, and that person's taken, right?
Yeah.
You've got to develop your own thing. So, what do you say to someone that says, I'm just not a creative person. I can't come up with this viral video or this way of doing TikTok or social media.
Yeah. That's the really interesting thing is that when you create content based on trending things, a lot of times you can create virality. You can create a lot of engagement on that content. But what people have forgotten is that it's not the engagement, it's the conversion into action that matters.
Mm.
And so when I teach people about content and when I focus on content creation myself, I would rather create a thought provoking piece of content that adds value that gets 5 likes, but someone opts in and either applies for a consultation or joins my launch. Then I would rather have someone that I have 1,000 people that comment on this funny video that I made, but of those 1,000 people, think about it. How many of your ideal client are sitting and spending time scrolling on social media, commenting on funny videos? That's the problem, is that people are getting this positive reinforcement in the wrong way for vanity metrics that don't
Mm.
actually put dollars and cents in the bank.
Yep.
So I think creating that distinction of understanding the difference between engagement versus conversion and thinking about who do you want to attract and what are their behaviors. So I'll give an example of I could go create these silly, funny, really engaging pieces of content online and I could throw them out there all day long and get way more engagement, more follows, more likes, more comments than I do on the content that I create. But here's what I know. My vision and my goal in my business is to work with business athletes, people that actually want to build substantial, profitable companies. Here's the deal. Look at the behavior of those people. Those people are busy building their businesses. They're not sitting and scrolling, watching funny videos and commenting on silly, stupid lip syncs all day. They're actually working on building their business. They're only going to click to pay attention to my content if I'm talking about a specific topic that they're like, oh, yeah, I actually need more information on that. Oh, yeah, that's relevant to a problem that I have in my business right now. Okay, it's worth me stopping what I'm doing to go listen and engage in that because it's going to add value to move my business forward. So I think separating those two things is really important. And then the other thing, just to come back around with your question, a lot of people say, oh, I can't come up with the topics, or I can't come up with what to do, or I'm not creative, like you said. When I was building my podcast and I went from, I'm in the marketing category, which is one of the hardest categories, most competitive, hundreds of thousands of shows. I was so deep on the rank, you couldn't even find me unless you typed in my name, up to number 8. And what I did to achieve that was as people came into my ecosystem, I actually asked them, what do you want to learn? What topics interest you? What would excite you? What would you love for me to create a podcast episode on? And so I've listened to my audience and I really tapped into what is going to motivate them to set aside 20 minutes to spend with me listening to my show. And so you don't have to be creative. You don't have to come up with all the ideas. You don't have to be this like uber like creator, right? You just have to listen to your audience, pay attention to their wants and needs, and create things that are really well crafted just for them.